Hi friends. I thought I would just share this with you. I didn't get a chance to read the preface of Courage to Change today. We had a nice family day, and so I try and work it in. I'm going to read it. Taking life one day at a time has proven essential in the Al-Anon program of recovery for those whose lives have been adversely affected by the problem of alcoholism in a relative or a friend. This book, like its companion volume, One Day at a Time in Al-Anon, is designed to keep our focus on today and give us the courage to change the things we can. The 1988 Al-Anon World Service Conference voted to produce a second daily reader to more fully reflect the variety of our fellowship, whose members are the real authors of this collection. Such collective wisdom helps us to view each day as an opportunity for happiness by focusing on the reality of today without the burdens of yesterday or the fears of tomorrow. Because these selections are based on sharings from individuals, they contain references to gender and to specific relationships. But the thoughts are applicable to people of all walks of life. As in One Day at a Time in Al-Anon, the meditations are reinforced by appropriate quotations. The use of these quotes implies no endorsement of the person or the volumes quoted. They have been selected for what was said, not who said it. So I appreciate that. Thought that you would want to know that because that's kind of important. Sometimes quotations are from people you don't necessarily care for, but it's still good information. One of the reasons why I have done this is because children are my priority. And in my life, we have 2 children. And I believe children are very, very smart. In a lot of ways, they are a lot smarter than adults. And I always tell my girls, and I do believe this, children can run companies. And unfortunately, we don't always see our children with their full capacity. We see an age, and then we don't really see how much knowledge they can impart to the human race. And I believe Greta Thunberg is a good example. She's very young, very wise, and she's trying very hard. It's an awful big. It is a awful big undertaking what she's trying to do, but it definitely is making us aware as humans of the importance of making some changes quickly. And on that note, changes quickly when it comes to the organization for children and making them a priority and making sure that they are safe in the congregations is very important to me. I had a sister that was a close friend of mine. She had related a terrible experience of a child who was 11 years old who had went over to a sleepover. And the child sodomized the other child. And it was quite a shake-up for that congregation. It was in the Ventura area. And unfortunately, because the child that had done this, the parents of the child that was sodomized were not treated fairly, unfortunately for them. The connection to the child that did the abuse, oh my goodness, they had pioneer, elder, family, higher up, circuit overseer, grandparents, so there was no protection for the parents that had the child that didn't have those connections. They were treated very unfairly. So there's definitely a breakdown in that way, in the organization and in the corporation. And Barbara Anderson is a wonderful advocate and for children. And I will put the links to her conversation with Cliff, along with her actual YouTube channel, Watchtower Documents. And she alludes to all these different situations that have happened in the organization for the last, oh my goodness, geez, Louise, it must be like, oh my, at least over 50 years. So, and she goes into explaining what she has seen from the beginning, because she was there at the beginning. And she was aware of the families that were suffering. And as far as my family was concerned, I thought we were the only family. And I knew of the families in my situation, or my parents' situation. But I believed that they thought that they were all alone, and it was a single case. Whereas she explains that there are more individuals that have suffered sexual abuse in the organization. And so I appreciate she said, you want to get the truth, and in order for you to get the truth, you have to get the facts, and not to be afraid to get those facts. And when she breaks down those facts, it just makes you see what you possibly didn't understand before. Facts are very important. I also like JT and Lady C. I put the links down there as well. The importance of getting some psychology, the background psychology of why it's so easy for the organization to do what they're doing and to hide things. And there's a lot of free therapy that you can get on YouTube channels. There's some really wonderful people out there that are willing to give their time, and make it free, so that you can understand why these things are happening. I love Dr. Mate. He is very open to that there's studies that when generations are impacted in ways that damage them, it affects us and the human race, generational. So there's a lot of psychology to this background, to this information, and you shouldn't be afraid to look into this information and the psychology behind it. And it frees you in a way to understanding why we see all these abuses in the organization, and how it manipulates minds, and how it's manipulating minds today. Again, I want to say I appreciate free, because not all of us have access to books and access to going to take a class. This you might be listening to on the other side of the world, and you don't have these things available. And that's why I do read these things to you. And I will also, at the end of this book, it gives you the 12 steps. And so I'm hoping to be able to somehow put that down on the YouTube channel. And so you can see what that is. It breaks it down. It helps you to understand the importance of taking it just one day at a time. All this information floods you. And for me, I knew I needed to cut myself off the organization in order for me to get a clearer perspective and a clearer picture of what I needed to hear clearly, and I wasn't going to be able to do that if I stayed in the organization and still went to all the meetings. And so everybody does it differently. Some people fade, and that's fine. Everybody is a little different. For me, I needed to make a clear cut, and then I could look at information at that point and be able to digest it better. Because this takes a toll on your mind, and it takes a toll on your body. So the importance of rest, the importance of eating well, the importance of taking care of your body during this process is vital, because it can affect you in such a negative way. So all of it has to be very balanced. And if you are a person that needs to take it slow, I understand that. And people should understand that in your family. If they can't understand why you're not doing it fast enough, you. For me, I knew I needed to cut it off. And I'm telling you, it hit me like a brick. And once it hit, I wasn't looking back. I didn't know what I was jumping into, but I knew what I was jumping out of. And that was reassuring. And again, I'm gonna, these two books, My Bondage and My Freedom, which, the words alone, just, for me, My Bondage and My Freedom, that was profound. And then I Am Najud, age 10 and divorced. And this hit me for baptism, because so many times my brother was baptized at 13, and I was baptized at 18, 17 and a half. And that was still that was old. As one of Jehovah's Witnesses at the time, I would constantly be bombarded by ministerial servants. Why aren't you baptized yet? Why aren't you baptized yet? Nope. My dad did, I don't know if you had seen other videos, but the explanation is my dad did not want me to get baptized. So I was not allowed to get baptized until a certain age, which impacts a lot of our choices as Jehovah's Witnesses, because we are indoctrinated young. And if we've been around this, and now it's even younger. I had gone to Pioneer School with 2 8-year-olds. So they were baptized at 7? That's ridiculous. And then they were in my Pioneer School at 8 years old. I think they were at the time the youngest pioneers in the area. I'm from the Orange County area in California. So yeah, I'm now in South County, but I was in the in Santa Ana and Huntington Beach area. We did move to Redlands for a bit. So yeah, it comes at a very young age, indoctrination. And so this was a powerful book, because this young girl had to get out of her marriage to a man, and to an old man, older than her father. It resonated with me because of the youth that is encouraged to get baptized at such young ages, ridiculously young ages. That's not a scriptural teaching. There were no young people that got baptized by Jesus when he was on the earth. And for those who are atheists, I'm in a process of understanding. And so I appreciate my atheistic husband. I appreciate his interesting viewpoints. And I also appreciate that a human being can change from day to day. So what we believe one day may not be something that we believe a year from now. So my encouragement to you is to be able to get facts and to learn, and that it's okay. And it's okay to be wrong. But at least get out of your pin of fear. No one is gonna zap you. I know with my children, I always told them, we disappoint our Heavenly Father, but no one has been zapped off the earth. Not yet. So we have time, and we have time to grow, and will be disappointing to, I'm sure, and humans around us and to our Heavenly Father. But there's no reason to shut somebody's life off, and that includes your own. Go and do research, and don't be afraid of the facts and what it leads you to. Facts. I put links down to Barbara Anderson and SCAARS, her wonderful, oh my goodness, she has a wonderful organization that is helping children. All of that will be on my links. So I hope you had a good day today, and I wish you all the best. Follow your bliss and be good humans.